Let's look at how contacts and companies work together inside the software. A contact always represents a person. A company represents a shared group, like a household or a business. You'll see that under associations. You'll see opportunities and companies. One company can be connected to one contact or many contacts. Let's walk through a few examples. Imagine you work in the wedding industry. You might be working with a husband and wife planning their wedding. Each person gets their own contact record. Each contact has their own email, phone number, notes, and message. Both contacts are connected to the same company, which represents the couple or the household. This could also work for finance, real estate, mortgage, co-borrower, borrower. The company record holds shared details like the wedding date, the venue, the package selected, the budget. The contact record focuses on the people, where the company record focuses on shared information. I think it might be good to give another example. Let's say you run a pet sitting service or even a veterinarian clinic, and you want to use pets as the object. If you look at a pet-based business, the contact would be the pet owner, and the company could be the household. And then you connect another object for the pet. The pet object can store details like breed, male or female, spayed or neutered, vaccination dates, etc. The pet connects to the household, and the household connects to the contact. Everything stays organized and connected. Why does this even matter? Well, this structure keeps your data clean. I've already showed you how to create custom fields and then your custom folders or your groups. Let's go into settings. And when you come over here to objects, we'll click on the objects. You'll be able to see all of the objects here. We first start with the contacts object. Then we also have opportunities object and the companies object. This is where we can create our own custom object. We can start by clicking on create a new custom object to match your unique needs. Click add custom object and begin. Or you can click on this blue button right here in the top right that says add a custom object. Custom objects let you define brand new record types, each with its own field association and automation. So your CRM mirrors your real world process. They're ideal when standard objects aren't enough. Example, if you're tracking property listings, things like an MLS, how many bedrooms, status, or like we mentioned before, pet, breed, vaccinations. After you create an object, you can use it across views, filters, and automations. The key benefits is flexibility, defining any entity with custom fields, labels, and associations. And then automations, triggering workflows or creating and updating or running object-specific actions. Other benefits might include insights, analyzing object data or smart lists or list views, maybe using then filtering with advanced filters. You'll definitely want to plan this out when it comes to setting up your opportunity. There is a limit of up to 10 objects, so we want to make sure that you're not going object crazy. The most important thing is to pick and create your objects that relate to your business. If you're working with pets, if you're working with real estate, if you're a property manager and you have a list of properties, maybe you have an automobile lot and you have a list of automobiles. Either way, we want to make sure that you're setting up your objects that are related to your business and specifically to your industry. There's supported unique field types like single line text, multi-line text, number, phone. You'll get up to 10 unique fields per the object. It's important to understand the associations and labels. Before we jump in and show you the association and the labels, let's take a look at creating a custom object. Why don't we go ahead and use the pet example? And what I'll do is I'll just go in again and select the blue button and we'll create a new object. You're going to see custom objects, singular. This is where we would put pet, subject object, plural would be pets. The primary object would be the pet name. If this was, let's say you managed 10 properties and this was property 1, you might want to give it a property name, maybe an address or just a street name for that name. If we were talking about automobiles, maybe you might want to say the automobile name. And then that's where we would go in and create the fields that are associated with this particular pet. Right here, there's a little check mark that says mark primary field as unique. This helps prevent duplicate data entries. and enables accurate deduplication during imports, workflows, and form submissions. Once created, unique fields can be changed to non-unique, but non-unique fields cannot be made unique. You have up to 10 unique fields. So it's really important to just kind of keep these very simple, but yet very effective. I would recommend on this one, if you're having your primary field be the pet name, have your primary field be the address name, have the primary field, for example, if you're working with mortgage, be the borrower, and the secondary field would be the co-borrower. So we would have these fields related to the specific person or the specific object. You can also change the icon. Let's see if we want to do a dog, maybe. We'll just put dog for a pet. And you can put object description, put that object description. And then where it says create and add custom field, we're going to do this here in just a second. But if you were to click that, it creates it automatically, creates the custom object, and then takes you right here to your custom object. You'll see your custom objects listed under the custom objects. Go ahead and open up that pets. Now we've got the pet details. Now you'll see we've got our custom object set with our pets. There's these 3 little dots here where you can delete it, edit, or add custom fields. So if we were to select edit, this is where we can go in and edit the details of the pet. Let's go ahead and add custom fields. We can add custom fields here, or we can come over here. Let's go back, select the 3 dots, and add a custom field. I want to go ahead and add a drop-down option. So let's go ahead and select next. We're going to do the field name. Let's do the first field name. This is going to be male, female. We'll do male and female, and we'll want to know if it's a boy dog or a girl dog. We've got the male and the female to be selected. But now what we need to do is we need to select that object. When you select object, this is where it's going to go into the pet object. So we'll go ahead and select save. Now there are additional preferences that you can do where you can create unique keys and descriptions. Before we hit save, it's going to pop up to have you select it to a group. Be sure to select it to your group that says pet info. This is going to have all of the pet information. Now I'm going to select a group for pet info, but you can go back in and create any group that you'd like. But we definitely want to make sure we have it in the right object. So if you're working with a company object or a contact object, you're going to want to put the contact object. So for example, we talked earlier about adding company. If you added a company and this was related to the company, let's say something specific like a company EIN number, you might want to add in a custom field that's related to that company. We're going to relate a custom field to the object that we just created. I'm going to go ahead and select save. You can create more objects based on your industry and your business. Now let's go into our contact, and I'm going to just select a contact here. Why don't we use this example of Riley? And right over here where it says manage associations, you'll see Riley is attached to a company object right here. We're going to select manage associations. Now the next thing that we need to do is create our associations. So let's go ahead and edit this. And you'll see we've got our pet info here, but we don't have any associations. Now, we need to be able to associate this data with the contact or the opportunity. So what we want to do is we want to use the associations to identify and track the connection between your objects. Let's go ahead and create an association. So when you click on create an association, there's 2 options here. You can select a single label or a pair of labels. So let's say we were doing a single label for pets. That would be the owner of the pet. If we were doing something like mortgage, we might put over here borrower and let's just say co-borrower, all associated to the contact. In our particular case, we're going to use the pet example and we'll put pet to the owner. Now, the very next part, you're going to want to configure the relationship. Now, think of it like this. One-to-one object is linked to exactly one other object. The example is a single car is linked to one specific contact, the owner. One-to-many is one object that's going to be linked to multiple objects. So one car associated with multiple contacts would be labeled as interested buyers, or one property could be located to interested renters or interested buyers. Many to many would be multiple objects that are linked to multiple other objects. An example of that would be several cars are associated with one contact, buyers and sellers in a dealership. A 1 to N defines a specific limit for the relationship. An example would be a dealership allows one car to be listed for sale by up to 5 contacts, or we could say 5 sellers. In the pet owner or a single label case, this would be considered one-to-one. The pet is linked to the owner. So we'll do 1 and 1. You'll see right here the graph that shows the pet owner to the contact. Up to 1 contact can be associated with each pet using the label owner. Up to 1 pet can be associated with each contact using the label owner. So you can see how the object flows. The pet relates to the contact relates to the pet. We're going to go ahead and select save, and there is our object. It's been created and associated. And there is our association, one owner. We can create other associations. Let's go ahead and select the 3 dots. We can select edit at any time to change or update any association. So now we've got a pet and we've got an association. Now we're going to have our pet field, which is male and female right here, that is selected to the object. I'm going to create a folder that says pet info, and let's go ahead and select save. Let's go ahead and refresh. Now you're going to see on the left side my pet's object. And this is where we would add a pet. So let's add a pet name, and I'm going to say, let's say Luna. We're going to hit save. Now Luna will have her information. Who is the owner? Who's the followers? We can hide empty fields and folders, or now we can fill out our custom field that we just did and add her as a female. This is where you can start adding all of those custom fields. A great example would be spayed, neutered, last date of shots, co-borrower, borrower, all the details that you want to have. If it's an automobile, if it's a house, all the details that you would want to put in there. All you've got to do is plan this out, what fields that you want to put in, and you'll have all the fields that you need related to that object. I'm going to go ahead and select save and watch what happens. The record is saved, so I officially have a pet. Now we have the pet name Luna, and my pet object is here listed. Now we don't have Luna associated because I just showed you how all we did was add her and put her in her records. Let's go ahead and select Luna right here. I'm going to click on there. And now we can search a contact and add to a contact field. So there we go. We can save it. We'll add it to the contact. Now we're going to go back to the contact. Let's go ahead and select the demo contact here. And you'll see here's my contact information. When we come over here to the associations icon, you're going to see pets right here. We can create a new pet or link an existing pet. So I'm going to select link existing pet. I'm going to select Luna here, shows the owner, and let's go ahead and select save. So it's really neat how easy it is to manage objects here and to manage data. This is so great when it comes to running your business, when it comes to objects and data. We're not calling the pet or the property or the automobile, we're calling the contact. So you're relating that to the contact. So remember, you can add objects related to the contact, related to the opportunity to help you manage the data and detail of that contact. There's so much more to come when it comes to company objects. Just remember, select settings, select objects, and select and add your new object. You'll be able to relate to opportunities, contacts, and companies. And remember, if you ever want to change anything or delete anything, you can always select the little 3 dots and select the delete to delete, edit, or add any custom additional fields as you begin to grow your custom objects. Just don't forget to relate the custom objects to the opportunity or contact or even company that's related to that custom object. Custom objects are powerful, but not always the right answer. So avoid custom objects if a standard object already works. Contacts, companies, and opportunities. They come with built-in features that custom objects don't always support. You need contact-specific features. Bulk emails, marketing campaigns, and certain communication tools work with only contacts. Maybe you're duplicating the same idea, so creating a custom object that mirrors an existing object can cause confusion and inconsistent data. Instead, try using smart lists to create different segmentations. Within common standard CRM objects would also be things like tags when it comes to organizing your marketing. Good use cases. Real estate for a home. Create a homes object to track property details, price, status, location. This could be for property managers or a property that you're selling. Veterinarian clinics, like the pets example that we just used, use a pets object to store medical history, vaccinations, and appointments linked back to the pet owner. Custom objects shouldn't replace notes, tasks, and activities. That adds unnecessary complexity. Once you create a custom object, you can add custom fields, define associations and labels. You can build workflows and automations, and even build forms to collect data in custom objects. If you're brand new, I recommend setting this up once you're completely comfortable when it comes to custom fields, understanding what custom fields are already created and how they work within your system. If you're ready, then get started with custom objects by creating and adding your first custom object now.